Hey lady, you wanna buy this pen? It's really cool, you have 4 different colors. You can sign your college loan with it and get stuck with a soul crushing debt you'll never pay off. It's you know, it's super cheap too. For God's sake, lady, just buy this thing. If I don't sell, I get evicted. Okay, what about 50 cents, lady? I'll sell it for 50 cents. Is that good?
Hello there, once again after a millennia, and welcome to my channel where I make videos every once in a while where I teach the most important parts of a certain subject so you can hit the ground running, aka the Filthy Casuals Guide. And as you can see, your boy's moving up in life. Just look at the... I don't look like I'm in a trash can anymore. I sound like I'm in a trash can. And yeah, I heard your complaints, there's only 30 of you. However, if I make one of you happy and one of you enjoys my content, I'm good already. Since I simply do this for fun and to help people, that's always a bonus. And as well, new lighting, and look at this. Bam, now I'm in Dubai. Bam, now I'm in the Bahamas. Wait, where am I? Oh no. Phew, almost got cancelled there. So in today's video, I'll be teaching you almost everything you need to know to make the first sale. And stay to the end as well, because I got a few books to recommend you that will turn you into a sales ninja. Now you might be asking yourself, David, what do you even know about selling? Come on, you can barely talk. When you talk, you sound like you're chewing a bag of rocks. I need subtitles to understand your videos even. Okay, first of all, shame on you for being right. Secondly, yeah, that goes to show, anybody can sell. If I can sell, you can sell as well. In this video, we'll cover what does it mean to sell so you don't go around scamming people, why people even buy, leads and prospecting, what is mirroring and how to mirror, what is building rapport, first impressions, tonality, body language and appearance, how to ask questions, and finally, how to close a sale, at least the best way for someone that's starting out. Of course, if I did miss anything, do let me know in the comments down below. Okay, Chief, roll the intro.
It's too small, I'ma throw it back. I've done a lot, but I ain't got a lot to show for that.
As always, just want to remind you guys, if you enjoyed this video, just click the subscribe button and give me a small like. That'll be your good deed for the day. And before I start this video, I want to preface by saying there are many types of industry: B2C, B2B, product selling, service selling, low ticket selling, high. There are many things. However, this video is just a general guide of the philosophies of selling. If you see these videos, guys throwing around random quotes and random names, and you're like, what are these guys saying? This video will better help understand them. And as well, like I said before, I left a few books to help you understand everything, almost everything you need to know about selling. So let's get into it. What does it mean to sell?
A always be B, C closing. Always be closing.
Now, contrary to popular belief, and movies like Wolf of Wall Street would tell you, selling is not manipulating people into buying things they don't need. That's just simply called manipulation, that's not selling. In selling, you can never turn a no into a yes, you're not an alchemist. You can only turn a maybe, let me see, let me talk to my wife, what are you doing in my house, etc. The same objections, you know. You can only sell to people who need your product and who you know that you can help. Even if you don't know much about sales, you can still sell by simply focusing on the other person and helping them and informing them about the product. I think it was Christo who said this perfectly. Sales is serve, ask, listen, empathize, and summarize. So let's recap. Selling is the art of helping other people get what they want. So salesmen are called to think about other people first. Stop putting your commission ahead of the customer's needs, okay? You need to be ready to walk away from the sale if they don't need your product. Now, why people buy? Here's the thing, people most of the times buy on emotions. They usually buy things for these reasons, which are actually covered in the book $100 Million Offers and How to Build a Story Brand. They buy something that will help them survive, thrive, increase status, feel love, be perceived as beautiful. Pretty much the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, that was a mouthful. People buy on emotion, then justify it with logic. You should always sell benefits first and features last, because if you sell just benefits, they'll feel like they got ripped off. If you sell just features, they'll rationalize themselves out of the sale and they probably won't buy. And fun fact, by the way, did you know that people that lack emotion cannot make a decision? Because most of our decisions are actually based on emotion. So people with a damaged limbic system, they knew that choice was the better choice, however, they could not take the first step. Why? Because they lacked emotion.
tripping, bro.
So pretty much every decision we make is dictated by emotions. For example, if you're selling workout programs, you're not selling the physique, you're selling the confidence the guy will get to ask the girl out for prom. If you're selling the camera, you're not selling megapixels, you're selling the memories that will be stored for the rest of your life. And you don't sell Invisalign as well. You sell the confidence you get from having straight white teeth and not looking like a 1700s British king.
I'm an Englishman, and considered quite a handsome one at that.
Recapping, touch their hearts, not their mind. The quickest way to anybody's mind is through their heart. Same with buyers. You want them to buy your pumpkin spiced latte? You gotta trigger their inner rich white girl, pretty much. Next off, leads and prospecting. What are they?
I have 60 seconds. I'd like to share the idea with you. You got a minute?
So a lead is simply a person who you think is qualified to buy from you, or at least is interested in whatever service or product you're offering. And prospecting is simply the process of finding those people wherever they are. And you need to search where your people are. For example, if you're selling luxury houses, you're not gonna look in a rundown neighborhood. And this is the part where you'll be doing most of your cold approaches to see if they're the right prospect to buy your product or not. And after this prospecting session, you either book a meeting or you simply let them go on their merry little way. It's kind of like what those old miners used to do. Remember they had like the little bucket with water, just shift it around until they found a gold nugget? That's pretty much prospecting. You keep shifting, you keep sifting people around until you find the gold nugget. And there's many ways to do this. You can do it by cold calling, email, LinkedIn, Instagram, and the one I hate most, because I'm an introvert at heart, networking event. So you need to identify who your customers are, where they are, and how they think. You need to niche down as much as possible so you can identify exactly who they are. So let's recap. A lead is simply a qualified buyer, and prospecting is simply the process of filtering out the unqualified from the qualified buyers. For example, if your audience is just old rich men, you're not gonna find them in the club. You're gonna find them in the golf club. Now, mirroring. So here are a few mirroring techniques. First, everyone knows this. It's the old classic, simply just mirror what they're doing. Mirror their body language, their tonality, whatever it is. For example, if they cross their hands, you cross your hands. If they cross their legs, you cross your legs. That type of stuff. Secondly, it's the Voss method. I prefer this method actually because it's quite lazy. You just simply repeat the 3 last words they said. And lastly, the Socratic method, where you simply summarized everything they pretty much said to you. And the funny thing about this tactic is when I pull this off with clients, they're always like, holy, this guy's actually listening to me. He actually cares, unlike most salesmen. So for example, you'd say, so John, what I heard is you need video by this time because of these reasons.
Yo, why you bugging?
Or else X will happen. Is that correct? Recapping, as humans like what's familiar and hate what's unknown. Now building rapport. Probably heard every single YouTuber throw this phrase around and you're like, what does this even mean?
Build rapport.
Rapport.
Take your shirt off, Garrett.
Rapport is simply the process of gathering information to make the sale or to qualify the buyer. And it's also the process of making them trust you. So for example, if you're mirroring them, you're actually building rapport. And the main tactics you can use to build rapport is asking open-ended questions, mirroring, and by summarizing as well, the technique I told you before. Now, first impressions.
I think the biggest surprises are behind me.
Here's a fun fact I learned in sales. Almost literally, I think everyone judges you in the first 5 to 10 seconds.
Take your shirt off, Garrett.
That's right, no matter how much they say,
don't judge a book by its cover, this, that, etc.
they always do that. So in those first seconds, you need to come across as an expert in your field. How do you do that? Through body language, tonality, and of course, what you dress. So you gotta dress spiffy. And remember, always sound enthusiastic.
Good morning, starshine. The Earth says hello.
Sharp as a tack, and sound like an expert in the first seconds of meeting them. Okay, tonality, body language, and appearance. So how you say something is way more important than what you say. You ever seen that video of a dog where the owner starts saying screw you in a very cute tone and the dog liked it, but when the owner said I love you in an aggressive tone, the dog backed away? Us humans aren't that dumb, but however, we're not far off. So for example, you're not gonna go up to your friend and say, hey John, your grandma died. No, you're gonna say, so John, dude, I don't know how to say this, but your grandma just died. Also, bonus tip, always use speaking language. People don't read, I think it's above a 7th grade level, so you gotta speak like a normal person. Don't sound like this super pseudo-intellectual guy. As for body language, I don't have much to say in this topic, just simply match and mirror them. And as well, please, for the love of God, do not do this. I've made this mistake so many times in a meeting. Do not fidget and do not touch your face, I swear. Once you get nervous, I understand the need to touch your face. I was always scratching myself like some kind of drug addict.
Did I miss a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
But do not do that, because that will make you come across as untrustworthy or shady. For appearance, and this ties everything together, as in the first 4 to 10 seconds, you gotta look like an expert. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is simply by dressing as an expert. So no matter what these millennials and Gen Z and all these people that say, oh, be different and this and that, etc., always look professional, always dress business. Which, ironically, they all try to look different, so they all end up trying to look the same. So if you want to be different, you actually gotta be more conservative and be more normal. That's the irony of it. If everyone's trying to be different, no one's different. So always dress business with some sort of suit or tie or just simple shirt. Simple stuff like that will go a long way, trust me. Recapping, in the first 4 seconds. Oof, okay, sorry guys, I ran out of juice. So where was I? Let me see the script. Oh, yeah, that's right, recapping. People always judge you in the first 4 to 10 seconds of meeting you. So you gotta sound and look enthusiastic, an expert in your field, and sharp as a tack. And you do that by simply using the right tonality, always speak in spoken, normal people language. Make sure you always dress professional, and for the love of God, do not touch your face. And where are we? Asking questions.
What do you want to be when you grow up? What's the right tip? Have you called a plumber to your home lately?
Okay, we'll do this by categories. So first, always ask permission if it's a cold approach.
Take your shirt off, Garrett.
For example, so John, would you be opposed to answering a few quick questions? Secondly, always go for what or how questions. Rarely should you ever use why questions. And why is that? Simple, people usually view why as an attack because they gotta justify themselves a lot to you. And thirdly, go for no questions. This is actually a Chris Voss tactic. You start with no-oriented questions. Because when you usually try and get people to answer with a yes, for example, do you like water? They'll say yes. People always raise their guard and are always kind of suspicious because you think you're just a sleazy salesman. And when you ask no questions, people actually lower their guard down and or say, yeah, I don't mind, I have a few seconds. For example, instead of saying, hey John, do you have time to talk? Say, hey John, is now a bad time to talk? I don't know, it's all with all the Johns today. Sorry John, I don't know who you are, but I'm sorry my guy. My word, now I ran out of memory. I swear, everything just keeps getting in my way. Suffering from success, DJ Cal. So, where was I? Let me see the script. Oh yeah, that's right, less invasive, more invasive. You're not gonna go to a girl that looks like she has daddy issues and ask, hey, do you have a father? Cause I got this blue or whatever color of the rainbow you want, hair color, hairspray, and the short skirt. No, you're not gonna do that, my guy. You're gonna build rapport and build trust with the person. Then maybe, I wouldn't ask that question, but maybe if you want, you can ask it. Okay, fifth, ask questions using the right tonality. If you sell, for example, coffins, you're not gonna see a client come into the store and they're gonna be like, ching, dang, what's up with all these dead people analogies? Dang, David, what were you thinking when we were making this script? So yeah, pretty much you're not gonna talk to people in a sad situation, looking like the barber from Courage the Cowardly Dog. You know, if you guys ever watched that show. Okay, and these last ones aren't that much like question guides, but they're still something you wanna do during the question process. So first, take notes. I know most salespeople tell you, you gotta look him in the eyes, you know, like I'm the captain now. But at least in my industry, or if you're selling high ticket stuff, or I don't know, even if you're selling low ticket stuff, which is low priced or high priced things, I would still take notes. It shows that you care and you can qualify the lead. Because if you end up talking to them for half an hour, you're not gonna remember what they say. But if you can't take notes, always listen. For the love of God, if you don't get anything out of this video, just remember this one thing. Always listen. You can mess all this up, but if you listen, they will feel like, okay, this guy is trying, this guy actually cares. Hopefully you do everything okay, but Listening is the best weapon you can have, that no one uses. So, I don't know what number we are, but find out what their needs are. So during the qualifying phase, or even during the first meeting, you need to find out what are their pain points, what are their needs, what are they suffering with. And Daley actually talks about this in his book, Socratic Selling. The customer owns the past, and we don't visit the future until we got rid of the past, until we visited everything. And the future is your product. Your product is gonna solve their problem. So to live the future, we gotta first relive the past. Finally, empathize and summarize. Dang, this thing is tight. I'm sorry, I have a skinny neck, but still. So after you listen to the needs, you took notes, now it's time to empathize and summarize everything they said. And using this, the more the client will feel understood and will feel like you actually care. And at the end, you don't summarize the facts, you summarize the feelings.
Disrespect, facts don't care about your feelings.
You're not gonna summarize, for example, so what I heard is that you need a 120 megapixel camera. No, you're not gonna summarize that. What you're gonna summarize is, so John, what I heard is you need to buy a new camera because you're gonna go on vacation in a few months and you want to make sure you capture the best quality pictures to remember this vacation for the rest of your lives. Am I correct? Okay, so recapping, I gotta look at my script, I'm sorry. Ask for permission, ask what and how, open-ended questions, why is an attack, go for no, go from less invasive to more invasive, ask questions using the right tonality, take notes, uncover the needs, empathize, and summarize. When you're listening and recapping everything they told you, the client is feeling understood and they feel like you care, which is something most salesmen don't do. So this is almost gonna give you an unfair advantage. Listen and worry about them. And you show that you worry about them and that you listen by simply summarizing. And if you're worried about messing it up, don't worry, they'll simply correct you if you mess it up. They'll at least like the attempt. Whew, okay, we're almost over. How to handle objections.
I don't think they deserve to have their bright futures ruined by a momentary, minute, never to be repeated lapse of judgment.
For objections, I was gonna take a more specific route. However, I think I prefer you to understand what they are so you can kind of navigate around them. So I want you to remember, you can never turn like clear no, like I don't need anything of your product, into a yes. You can only turn a maybe, a let me see, what are you doing in my house, uninvited, etc. And I know this might seem hard, but when you're starting out, I want you to develop this mindset of hunting for objections.
And the only thing I can do is to drink my own pee.
You gotta hunt for them, reveal as many objections as possible. Because if there's even one objection left, they'll walk out of the sale and not buy. So objections usually, most of the time, come down to a client who hasn't had enough information. An objection just ends up pretty much being a doubt that they have, but they don't want to say it outright. So you kind of gotta reel it out of them. Like Daley talks about it in his book, Socratic Selling, you need to get behind the meaning of the objection. Daley gives a great example in his book, and I'll read it. The customer says, beige is ugly, and you ask, beige is ugly? What makes you say that? And the client will ask, because that velour fabric won't hold up with the use I gave the car. It'll get worn out and looks awful. And then you say, okay, so the fabric is the problem, not the color. We actually have seats in leather that last long and feels great. Are you interested in that? And if they ask something about your product as well, never just simply say, yeah, it's that. For example, if they say, hey, do you have this? You simply say, yeah, we have that. You gotta go as well behind the question. Another example from Daley's book, the customer asks, are your tractors yellow? You answer, yes, that's the company brand. And the customer never calls you back and goes with another supplier and not with you. And here's the thing, if you simply asked, yeah, we just sell yellow tractors, but why do you ask? And then he will tell you, it's simply because the color yellow attracts a lot of bees and that's a huge bother for us. So we need another color of tractor. And now, you can simply, I don't know how it is in that industry, but you can simply paint it another color and you have the client. So here's what you need to do, at least as a general guideline. Every objection is simply a lack of information. So you just recap what they said and ask one of these questions. What do you mean by that? What makes you say that? And how do you arrive at that? So let's recap. Objections are simply a request for information. They simply don't have information to make the purchase. If you qualified correctly, if you know the client needs your product and wants your product, then any objection you have from now on is simply a request for info. Or it might be something legit, like for example, hey, let me just go check with my financial advisor and all that, and then I'll come back to you. But if they say something like, okay, let me just go talk to my boss first, you should say, okay, I understand. But before you go, however, what would your boss, if your boss was here, what would he want to know? Again, always unearth the deeper meaning. Don't just take it at face value. And finally, we're almost over, closing the sale.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
So you determine the fit, you ask the right questions, you qualify the prospect, you build rapport, you identify their needs, and you pretty much eliminated every objection. Now it's time to go for the 360 no-scope. It's time to go for the kill. It's time to go for the triple thrust jab combo. So it's time for you to transition into the sale. And do that by saying, so Stacy, based on everything you told me, it seems like our product is a perfect solution for you. Here's what it is, and then you go for the pitch. Again, there are always many ways to skin the cat. There are many closes you can do. However, I'm trying to keep this video as general as possible. And I'm gonna teach you my favorite way of at least closing the sale. And once again, it comes from the book Socratic Selling from Kevin Daley. And it's the easiest close of all time because it takes pressure out of the customer and of course you, the salesman. And you know, I'm not gonna give you like this aggressive close because I want to spoil you guys, all 33 of you. So here's how you do it. Usually people have a hard time making a decision right now. It's better for them to make a decision, or it's easier for them to make a decision in a hypothetical what if world. So for example, Mr. Jones, so if you saw X by this time that solved this problem, would you be willing to move forward? And when you're doing this hypothetical close, you don't do two things. You don't mention your company or yourself, and you don't mention the product. And if they still have any objections left, this close will most likely reveal them. But if you listen to the client, you took notes, you summarized, you empathized, you did everything you need to do, he'll trust you enough to finally close the deal with you. Okay, so let's recap. If you can't close hard and go for the kill, simply do a hypothetical close. It's easier for the customer to do the decision in a hypothetical what if world than in the now with you in front of them, giving them some pressure. And of course, there's still quite a bit into selling, but this is like the base guide you need to even make one sale, which is something I never had, like a clear YouTube guide. This is something I needed 3 years back even. And if I went over everything, this video would take hours. So to compensate that, here are some books that are guaranteed to teach you almost everything you need to know about selling. Okay, number 1. I'm sorry for this, by the way, because I read most of my books on Kindle. It's obviously Socratic Selling, the book I keep mentioning in this video. And that's for good reason. I mentioned this book a lot of time. Here's the thing. A lot of the books people recommend you are things everyone has read. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm actually gonna recommend this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. But these books are things everyone has read, so you're not getting a competitive advantage with it. However, with Socratic Selling, it's one of those books that not that many people know and give you an extreme advantage in the sales process. And of course, it's something, at least from my experience, that I don't see many people using. Okay, so number 2, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Another book I keep mentioning in this video, and this book is not that much a sales book, but obviously it's negotiations. However, it can still be applied a lot in sales. Because I mean, come on, this guy used to negotiate with terrorists. I think he knows a thing or two about sales or negotiating, come on. And number 3, The Man, the Myth, the Legend, Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. Don't worry, he cleaned his act up for this book, and I mean, I assume his life now, so everything he says is ethical and I'd say trustworthy. Because I know you wanted to sell penny stocks for millions with Leonardo DiCaprio playing the main role, but well, it is what it is. And it pretty much covers everything, or at least the basics of selling. This is like a kickstart book. This is a book I'd give to absolute beginners that don't know anything about sales. It covers everything from body language to tonality to closing the sale, handling objections, how to develop a script, almost everything you need to know. Okay, number 4, the book that taught me how to stop being a turtle and finally get out of my shell. I know this is a cliche book. However, it's one of those basics you do need to read. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I mean, I don't need to say much about this book. However, if you're just starting out, you're just an antisocial person like me, I think it's a good book to start off and just like learn the basics of interacting with anyone, pretty much. It's not something that will give you a competitive advantage, I'd say, but it will give you the basics of socializing. And number 5, another book you've heard tons of times, most likely, influenced by Robert Cialdini, or Cialdini, however you want to pronounce his name, no offense. And this book will pretty much teach you almost all the tactics like that big companies use to trick you into buying, like for example, things like the reciprocity law, the social proofing law, like for example, if you sign like a petition and then someone comes to your house like 10 hours later, you're more likely to buy whatever they're selling because you now have this new persona because you signed the petition, for example, supporting the environment. So you kind of try to live up to whatever standard you put yourself on. And number 6, I mean, this is not that much of a sales book. It's more of a general guideline for creatives to have some dang self-respect. But however, I still wanted to put it in this video because it's a really good book, recommended a lot by Chris Doe, and it's the Win Without Pitching Manifesto by Blair Enns. And I love this book because it's so dang pretty. I mean, you just need to buy this book just because of the cover, just to hang it on the wall. However, I still think some of the things in this book can be applied to outside of the creative industry. For example, replacing proposals with words. That might function in some other industry as well as in creative. Because at the end of the day, a proposal should be the words you speak during the first meeting. And of course, there are some honorable mentions I still want to give. And I'm sorry, by the way, I don't want to put this in an honorable mention because it's a great book. And it's $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. And I didn't want to put this book here in the sales category because it's mainly a book on how to make an offer. However, like everything in this industry, from marketing to developing an offer, it also comes down to the same principles. Create urgency, create some need, and develop scarcity, things like that. All those tactics can be applied to a normal sales meeting. And the second honorable mention is How to Talk to Anyone by Leil Lowndes. Hold on, let me search it. Yeah, that's it. How to Talk to Anyone by Leil Lowndes. And it's pretty much what it says, is a book on how to pretty much talk with anyone. And finally, the most important book of all, the Bible. Wait, don't click away. Just hear me out. Give me a second, okay? And yes, I am serious about this. I can make a video defending the Bible, theology and all that, but for now, let's just keep it simple, okay? Just want to read Proverbs and the New Testament. It will give you a general guideline of pretty much how humans function. Because here's the thing, God made the human mind himself, and he knows our sinful nature. You might have read books like The 48 Laws of Power and similar book to everything Robert Greene has written. However, it's no surprise that humans are like that if you read the Bible. If you read the Bible, The 48 Laws of Power is like, just, dude, we've been saying this for thousands of years now. Humans are not inherently good people, they're inherently bad people. And the thing that actually, one of the things that made me believe the Bible was actually that once I started learning about psychology and sales and I went to study the Bible, I was like, everything that's going on here is just smack dab being right. It never failed me. So finally, after 1 year, I finally gained the courage and took the time to make this video, and I hope you guys got some enormous value from it. That's what I'm trying to do. I do this for fun and as a secondary thing to my main source of income, which is why I do this like once a year almost. Because these videos, I want to make great videos that teach a lot, and I want to, of course, make good edits. I don't want just to... If I helped one person with this video, my job is already done here. And of course, don't forget to throw a quick subscribe and a quick like, and I'll be seeing you next time I awaken from my million-year slumber to make another Filthy Casuals guide video for you. I love you all. God bless. Bye-bye.
So if they show love, I'ma show it back. If the catch is too small, I'ma throw it back. I've done a lot, but I ain't got a lot to show